Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Sunday the 2nd of March 2025. In today's Millwall news, we start off with the lowdown from the London News Online and South London Press. Now, it's a bit of a weird one today because obviously they cover both Crystal Palace and Millwall, and they've decided to do one joint one, whereas normally it's club specific. But we'll read it anyway, The lowdown on Crystal Palace 3, Millwall 1. Red card killed a chance of FA Cup spectacle. Crystal Palace beat 10-man Millwall. Yeah, we know all about that. Snapshot of the game. After a lively start at Selhurst Park, the tempo of the game was killed off after Liam Roberts produced a reckless challenge outside the box on Jean-Philippe Mateta. Referee Michael Oliver was sent to the VAR screen and issued Roberts with a straight red card. Palace had chances to make their man advantage count and finally capitalised after 33 minutes when Japhet Tanganga turned Will Hughes' cross back into the danger zone into his own net. Daniel Munoz added a second in the 40th minute when Billy Mitchell cleared the ball into Tanganga, with Muniz profiting and having a simple task of putting the ball beyond Jensen. Mill pulled one back before half-time of Hemiz's cross was pushed along the face with goal by Matt Turner, with the ball falling to Wes Harding to score. Glasner brought on Romain Esse and Adam Wharton to try and get a foothold back in the game, and the tie was wrapped up with 10 minutes left to play when Eddie Nketiah looped a header over Jensen. A tactical approach. The game looked to be an interesting battle, with Mateta set to go up against Tanganga and Jake Cooper, but any early tactical fight was out of the window following the Roberts red card. Palace completely dominated most of the first half, with wingbacks Chilwell and Munoz both experiencing a lot of joy down the flanks and space to expose. Millwall got back into the game when Alex Neil brought on Reece Bangor Williams and changed shape to a back five. The change, combined with Palace dropping their intensity level, allowed the Lions to cut out the space for Palace's wingbacks and gave Aziz more moments on the ball. Star man Nketiah, the former Arsenal striker, looked lively for an hour after coming on to replace Mateta. Put Palace through to the quarterfinals with a looped effort over Jensen, with Mateta more than likely going to miss the Ipswich game next Saturday. Having had 25 stitches, Palace are going to need their £30 million striker to lead the line in the Premier League. Best moment, full time. In what could have been a feisty South London derby with passion and intensity, the game felt quite flat and lacked a real spark. Talking points down the pub. The tackle, without a doubt, the conversation after the game from both home and away fans would have been about Roberts' challenge on Mateta. The man advantage made it far too comfortable for Premier League Palace, and the lack of intensity really killed any chance of a cup classic. I mean, yeah, it's been all over the place, the usual nonsense, vile Mill chants as they chant "Let him die," which is a ubiquitous phrase that you'll hear in probably 92 of all the 92 football grounds in the league. It's a bog standard thing that's been going on forever and ever. So, but when we do it, it's the worst thing ever. But they literally, Crystal Palace did it in the same game. And paper after paper after paper, because they know it gets clicks. They know people read it. And even people like, Piers Morgan has been piping up, but I think the only person I've seen, not the only one, but the most notable one who's stuck his neck out on the line in defence of Millwall has been Joey Barton. A much vilified man for the things that he says nowadays, but he's been defending Roberts and defending, Millwall, and attacking especially the chairman for his comments at half-time, which I think was basically the worst part of this, really. The fact that BBC approached him and decided to get him on at half-time to broadcast him on national television. Obviously, I don't know if that went around the world, but certainly on national TV in this country, to say the things he said unchecked. And everyone, even Troy Deeney piped up, because I didn't watch all that. I don't watch that shit at half-time. I've got better things to do. I've just seen the game. I don't need some fucking wallies to tell me their interpretation of what they've just seen. I've just seen it for myself. I've got eyes in my fucking head. Troy Deeney, a man who, if you didn't know, he went to jail for a fight outside of a pub where he kicked a geezer in the head. So, whoops. And he don't mention that though. He didn't mention that. But yeah, he's digging out the player and the challenge and all that stuff. So, caused a bit of kerfuffle, shall we say, which is a shame because we'll get into it. The next story is obviously, we cannot ignore the noise, ladies and gentlemen. The noise is being generated, and then that will influence the decision that gets made in terms of how many games of football Roberts will miss. Although he usually just sits on the bench, but luckily we are not in a relegation battle, so we can afford to have an under-21 keeper on the bench. But what the boss had to say, Glasner, I hope you can understand it's tough for me to talk about the game. It's hard for me to talk about the tactical side of things. We wanted to go to the quarterfinals, which we've achieved. I don't feel happiness today. There's sadness and doubt about how serious JP's injury is. My fingers are crossed that he can play in the quarterfinals. That's 4 weeks, so we are all hopefully it's not that serious. This is a misconception as well. He did not get knocked out. He was not concussed. He got a gash on the side of his head, and they decided to give him oxygen. You don't give someone who's concussed oxygen. He was not knocked out. That is a misnomer. He was moving all the time. Just the amount of lies that you're seeing online. Neil. With 11 men, we had moments where we were going to try and play and try and work ourselves up at the pitch. And that game got taken away after 5 minutes. If I tried to do that with 10 men, in my opinion, I would have basically just handed the game to Crystal Palace and said, here you go, scoring 4 or 5 goals because we're too open. And that changed the way we had to go about it, and we were much more direct, and it wasn't a feast for the eyes, in any way, shape or form. I'm fully aware of that, but my job is to give my team the best chance of staying in the game. So there you go. And the draw was made, I think it was today. I don't know when it was. I can tell you what it is. It's Crystal Palace versus Fulham. So I believe it is Palace Fulham, not Fulham Palace. So that would have been interesting if we would have got through another London team. Dagenham, Palace, and then Fulham, but wasn't to be. Oh well. Never mind. Now, here we go. Told you, look, the Telegraph, telegraph.co.uk, the Daily Telegraph. FA considers appeal for longer ban for Millwall goalkeeper after Jean-Philippe Mateta foul. Governing body has until Tuesday to launch an insufficient punishment appeal to extend Liam Roberts' 3-match ban. So, what? What's this? So the governing body has until Tuesday to launch an appeal. So the FA launches an appeal against themselves? Like, what the fuck is going on? This is an FA Cup competition. They're appealing the decision by the referee, because the referees they're run by a private company now called Pigmol. They don't even know that that's actually a company that is being paid to supply referees to the football business, the leagues. So is that how this stuff works now? I don't understand. The Football Association expected to consider an appeal to extend Liam Roberts' 3-match ban for his horror challenge on Jean-Philippe Mateta. Consider an appeal. So who's appealing? Palace are appealing. I don't understand. Keith Hackett is among former referees leading calls for the Millwall goalkeeper to face a 5-game ban over a high kick which hospitalised the Crystal Palace forward during Saturday's FA Cup match at Selhurst Park. Steve Parish, the Palace chairman, described it as the most reckless challenge on the football pitch I've ever seen. The FA have until 1 p.m. on Tuesday to launch an insufficient punishment appeal, although sources maintain it is too early to say whether the governing body will do so. The situation is likely to become clearer on Monday, however, as the FA carries out various debriefs after the weekend's FA Cup action. Mateta was taken off on a stretcher after being caught in the face by a head-high challenge from Roberts, who was sent off for the foul only after a VAR review. So, the FA will appeal to the FA about the decision in the FA Cup. It's like, was it when the judge hands down a sentence and then the CPS appeal the sentence saying it's too lenient? Kind of like that, I guess. The judges would be the referees. They would be kind of independent from the system, even though they are clearly a massive part of the system. So, obviously, we have a game on Tuesday. This is 1 p.m. on Tuesday, so I guess we'll find out if Liam Roberts is on the bench for the Bristol City game. If he's not, then one would assume that he's under investigation or an appeal or whatever's going on. Blah blah blah. So the Palace forward, whose team won 3-1, received treatment for more than 8 minutes before being taken to hospital. He was taken to St George's Hospital in South London before being discharged on Saturday evening, having had 25 stitches in his left ear. In his ear or next to his ear? Really? They keep the things that they're saying. They keep. There's no consistency because they're basically just copying each other. Mateta had been the target of chants of "Let Him Die" from some of the 2,800 visitors that could be clearly heard on television. So was Camille Negley on the 30th minute. Did you hear that? Do you want to put that in your story, or do you want to explain the "Let Him Die" chant? That is literally a ubiquitous chant that many fans up and down the country chant when a player is injured. Especially, when they think the player is like pretending to be injured. Millwall head coach Alex Neil said the clash was unintentional, and chairman James Berylson checked on Mateta's condition after the game. It has also been claimed Roberts has reached out to the Palace striker since the incident in the 6th minute of their fifth round tie. Mateta had been running onto a long ball as Roberts raced out of the penalty area. The goalkeeper attempted to clear. The bouncing ball was struck and was off the ground when his stud struck Mateta. Okay, what did Mateta do? So Mateta was just running onto a long ball. Just that. He wasn't looking forward at Roberts coming out at him because he was too busy looking to his left at Cooper, who he barged off the ball. So he didn't see Roberts coming. Paris said in the View, we know what he said. Hackett, meanwhile, said in his Telegraph Sport column that the challenge was totally unacceptable. Roberts rushes out of his area in order to clear the ball, but endangers the Frenchman with his flying high boot. The former referee has since suggested the FA should seek to increase his ban to 5 matches. According to FA rules, if the governing body deems a dismissive offence as truly exceptional, it can seek to increase the associated sanction by submitting a claim of clearly insufficient punishment. A claim and evidence must be submitted to the Players' Club by 1 p.m. on the second business day following the game. The club or player then has until 6 p.m. on the second business day following receipt. Oh, so he can still... So he doesn't have to respond. So I'd imagine if he's still he can still be on the bench now. I know, because he's automatically suspended, isn't he? So he's suspended straight away for 3 games. And then, so obviously, because all of this will be dealt with before the 3 games are up, and they can just extend it. Although obviously we're playing Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Bristol City, Watford, Leeds. So they might have to get on with that. The club or player then has until 6 p.m. on the second business day following receipt of the FA's claim to submit any evidence supporting their case that the punishment is clearly sufficient. So I think this happened before against us, didn't it? With was it the geezer who kicked Charlie Cresswell in the face, or the one who the Hull City player who got sent off, Estupinan? And he didn't appeal it. He just said, "Yep, guilty. Give me the extra games." Just to get it out of the way. So A regulatory commission would hear the case, with its only consideration being whether the standard punishment should not be imposed. The FA rules state. Mateta has reassured supporters on Instagram that he's on the mend. Yeah, well, he got a cut on his cheek. He got a cut on his cheek. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. Here's the thing. Players, was it the Irish guy, who played for Hull? Did he not get his cheekbone smashed in, or did he smash Peter Cech's cheekbone in? One of them happened. Maybe those both happened. Peter Cech's head got smashed in. He fractured his skull. Did he get a fractured skull? No, he got cut on his ear. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he didn't get knocked out because they haven't mentioned it. He wasn't concussed. If he was concussed, they would have mentioned it. He didn't get concussed. He got a cut on his ear. They gave him oxygen for some reason. No idea why. I guess because, did you see it? There was like 10 first aid people around there. I guess they had to do something. And then he went to hospital, got some stitches, and then left. It's like, that warrants more than a 3-game ban. He's going to get a 3-game ban anyway, so what's the problem? I don't understand the problem. Like, it was an accident. Roberts got the ball before he kicked the guy in the head. The guy who got kicked in the head wasn't paying attention to Roberts because he was too busy shoulder barging Jake Cooper. Now, would that be on the foul? Would that not be a foul? Don't know. Obviously, they kind of let those things go nowadays, but he was ball watching and Jake Cooper watching instead of watching the goalkeeper coming out. So there you go. Now, talking of referees and FAs and decisions and goalkeepers, by the way, did you know about this? They are changing the rules of the game again. They just can't stop leaving things alone. This is from bbc.co.uk/sport/football. A new law to tackle goalkeeper time wasting approved. But that's only when they have it in their hands. Obviously, we know nowadays goalkeepers time waste with the ball at their feet. And they tip it and they tap it and they tip it and they tap it. And it's boring as fucking hell. Which is, why I love that Millwall don't do that shit. And if they try to do it, they would get booed relentlessly. So, a goalkeeper holding the ball for more than 8 seconds will be punished with a corner for the opposition from this summer. The new law was unanimously approved by the International Football Association Board, IFAB, at its annual general meeting in Northern Ireland on Saturday, and will be in place at FIFA's Club World Cup, which takes place in the USA from the 15th of June to the 13th of July. Under the current law, keepers should be punished if they hold the ball for more than 6 seconds, with the opposition being awarded an indirect free kick. I thought it was 10 seconds, so I didn't even know that they fucking changed it to 6 seconds. But the CEO of the Football Association of Wales, Noel Mooney, said implementation of the 6-second rule had dissolved over the time, and it's hoped that the new law will lead to a reduction in time wasting. So because the current law is not being held up, let's change the rules. Already trialled in over 400 games in 3 different competitions, including the Premier League 2, referees will also warn the goalkeepers with a 5-second countdown before they are penalised. Here's an idea. Why don't you put it on the big board? You can have it on the electric fire, and then the crowd can chant down 5, 4, 3. What a load of old shit. The IFAB also voted to continue offside trials, in which the attacker will be ruled onside if his torso is level with the second to last defender. So this is what I was talking about briefly the other day, about how they're changing things. So they haven't changed the rules, they're just carrying on with the trials. But here's the thing. They have a meeting every year. Do you think they're going to have a meeting and then say, lads, everything's fine, football's fantastic, we're not going to change any of the rules? Of course they're not. Every fucking year they change a fucking rule. And sometimes it's, it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's just, here we go again. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. They keep changing the game. If you're an 80-year-old, a 70-year-old, 60-year-old, you're looking at the game now, it doesn't look anything like the game that it was when you was a kid. What's going on? What is going on? So yeah, a corner if the goalkeeper holds onto the ball for time wasting for 8 seconds. Wow. So, one of the consequences of the fact that we did get knocked out of the FA Cup is that, obviously there's a game on Tuesday, not that. This game, the game away at Sunderland on Saturday the 29th of March, which is the date of the FA Cup quarterfinals, will now go ahead Saturday at 3 o'clock. And here's the thing, 100% certain that if we weren't in the FA Cup game against Crystal Palace, this game would have been moved for television. It would have been brought forward to 12:30 kickoff because we have this game here 12:30. We've got this game here 12:30. Of course, Sunderland top of the league. They got Joby Bellingham and other players. They would have 100% moved this to a 12:30 kickoff. So luckily, because we were in that FA Cup game, they couldn't select it because they didn't know. It's Schrodinger's game. They didn't know if we were in or if we were out. And if we got through to the quarterfinals, this game would have been postponed, and that would have messed up their plans. So they haven't selected it for an early morning kickoff. So it's still Saturday, 3 o'clock. Trip up to the northeast. Why not? So there you go. Now, obviously, games on Tuesday. Now, I was just wondering, given the state of the fact that our goalkeepers are obviously one of the under-21 goalkeepers is going to have to sit on the bench on Tuesday and probably for the next 3 games, to be fair, because we let Connell Truman go. Like, we actually need him for once. The first time we need him, we let him go. We've let him gone. He's gone to MK Dons. It's always the way, isn't it? So on Tuesday, obviously we're playing Bristol City, but we also have this game. At the moment, it's still going ahead, but we don't know. This is Cardiff away for the under-21s. And obviously, will this game get postponed? I don't know, but the Cardiff games, if you go to their YouTube channel, Cardiff City FC, interesting, they've done this and they've got rid of the Red Tiger. That's interesting. They seem to show their games live on YouTube for free. Fair play. I don't know if it's every game, because they are a bit spaced apart. You got a month ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 days ago. So maybe it's just the home games, I would imagine. But yeah, so obviously tomorrow I'll check, because I was just thinking, if you don't know, there's generally 3 goalkeepers involved for the first team in terms of training ahead of a game. If you get there early and you're at the ground, you'll see them, especially in away games, you'll see them on the pitch training. Andy Marshall, the first choice goalkeeper, the second choice goalkeeper, and the third choice goalkeeper. Now, why do they do that? Because if one of the goalkeepers gets injured in the warm-up, in the pre-training, you can then call on the third goalkeeper to go on the bench, so you don't miss out on having a goalkeeper on the bench. So I'm just wondering now, with this game all the way out in Cardiff, obviously this is 2 o'clock kickoff, so 2 to 2:45, 3 to 3:45, so you've got to get from Cardiff to London from 3:45. You'd have to get to London by 6. Probably not. It could be done, but like rush hour traffic, I'm not too sure. So maybe Millwall might ask for this game to be, maybe postponed, either to another day or maybe the day after. I don't know if they can do that, but and if it's not, obviously I'll tell you tomorrow. In tomorrow's video, we'll find out about what's happening. But obviously, at the moment, it's set to be held in Cardiff International Sports Stadium, which means you can go to the game. Or, like I said, you can watch it on YouTube if they're going to show it live on YouTube, which, they have done in the past, and they show a lot of their games live on YouTube, which is nice. Get to see the game, but see, don't know if the game will go ahead, because you would imagine then they'll need two of the under-21 goalkeepers to train with the first team. So then who's going to play in this game? I don't think, obviously Dylan Dye's out on loan, although I think that's a youth loan. And he didn't play for Cheshire, so I don't know if he's injured. Who else have we got? We've got George Evans, and we got Jakob Preswosny. Ethan Waddy hasn't been seen, so I don't know what's happened to him. So this game very well might get postponed. Which, it should be. The focus should be the first team and winning the game at home against Bristol City. So yeah, I'll tell you about that tomorrow. Now that's it for the news. We're going to jump onto the stats now. We've got some stats from the game. For what it's worth. Wes Harding, superstar. If we go to the middle, you see the attempts on goal. 18-6, 10-2 open play, 3-4 set piece, 4-0 counter attack. They got one own goal. So they had 18 attempts on goal. We had 6. They scored 3 goals. We scored 1. That is a 16% conversion rate for both teams. So not too shabby for us, really, to score 1 goal from 6 shots. Pretty decent return. So if we could have improved that by attacking more, because we would have had extra player on the pitch, that might have been a different story. So we were mostly going down the right hand side with Wesley Harding. Shot directions. Shot zones. Action zones. Player positions. So yeah, you can see what they're playing there. Crystal Palace, they're playing like 4-1-5. Insane. And we'll just, what can we do? We've got to sit back. Interesting. Negley is more, obviously, he didn't have that much time on the pitch, so his average position could be averaged out. But from the time that he was on the pitch, he was mostly defending because he's number 56. Wes Harding's 45. So, man, crazy. Number 13. Roberts' average position is right on that goal line from when he kicked Mateta in the face. Lovely stuff. So let's move on to this, which just refreshed for some reason. So obviously here's the match events. Comedy of errors, really. I mean, the red card. Tanganga own goal. That the ball was going wide. No one was behind him. And then the second goal, Billy Mitchell, without looking and without really being under pressure. Obviously, professional footballers, they used to be having players a lot closer to them and a lot physical with them. He wasn't really under pressure. He just lamps it into Tanganga, who then the ball comes off him and plays the guy on the side. It's like, come on, bruv, what are we doing here? And then, the glimmer of hope, Wesley Harding. Goal, Wesley Harding scores, low to centre, 18-yard box, right-footed, open play. Why not? Does it tell you how they got? No, okay. And a funny thing as well, I don't know what was going on. Watching on the TV, the subs were coming out a lot. They were coming out a lot earlier than when they came on. So I don't know if Neil was baiting Glasner in terms of trying to get him to do his subs first, so that we could find out, or whether he just knew we were going to make these changes and he just waited for them to happen. But Jonathan Pearce on the BBC was saying we've only got one more round of subs, and you can see here we've got 4 rounds of subs, but I don't know why. Apparently if it's a concussion sub, you can make a concussion sub, and that doesn't count. But then, did we claim Camille Negley was a concussion sub when he clearly turned his ankle? Or is it just any injury? I don't know what that was about. Because then Adomi Maka comes on, so maybe the officials fucked up. Maybe they let us have an extra round of subs when we shouldn't have. Because obviously we made the sub Lucas Jensen for Kundal to replace the goalkeeper, Bangor Williams for Negley, and then that's 2 rounds. You can have 5 substitutions only in 2 rounds. Well, this is 6, so this is 6 substitutions. So have they changed the rules again? Maybe they've changed the rules again. Or have they fucked this up and no one's even noticed? Because they keep changing the rules and no one knows. So we made 6 subs. Man, I don't know what. Does anyone know what's going on with that? How are we able to make 6 subs on 4 different occasions? It's just don't understand. Crowd of 21,263. If you look at the club badges, top left, top right, 6.85 to 6.24. Richards got man of the match. That was the guy with the afro. But for best player for us, Wes Harding. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Obviously some low scores there. Roberts obviously got sent off, 5.4. Tanganga 5.9. Scoring an own goal doesn't help. 5.9 for Aziz though. I thought Aziz was probably quite threatening for us. Really, I don't see how he's got such a low score. Coburn 7.0, which is interesting because and Kundal 6.1. What did Kundal do? Kundal didn't do anything. He literally didn't do anything. But there you go. Total shots 17 to 6. So Mateta didn't have a shot. Aziz with 4, Harding with 1. Possession 76 to 23. Yeah, well, Again, look, Kundal didn't get on the ball. Kundal had no possession. 0. Nada. He didn't get on the ball and he still got a higher score than some of the other players. For what, my friends? For what? Don't know. Pass success 87 to 55. Obviously struggling to get it forward and pass it to another player. Just lamped it up. So Kundal didn't have a pass. Did Roberts didn't have a pass. So he got on possession but didn't have a pass. Negley 100%. Obviously he came off early though. Coburn was 70. Dribbles 2 to 3, and all of our dribbles seem to come from the players who came on as substitutes. Aerials 1, 34 to 24. Coburn with 7. Cooper with 3. Tanganga with 4. Sadly, one of them was for the home goal. But for them, Richards with 9. Lerma with 6. Saar with 3. Tackles 22 to 13. So not only did Harding score, he had the most tackles with 2. Well, he didn't because Bangor Williams had 3 off the bench. Bangor RBW. I mean, come on. How is obviously he's come back from injury, so that's probably why he's on the bench. I mean, man, he can pass and he can tackle, and he's got a vision. How is he not playing more? I guess with Negley injured, he'll probably start the next game. With obviously Connolly's got to come back. How is RBW not playing more? I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Corners 3 to 4. These are the players who won the corners. So not only did Harding score a goal, have the most tackles, he also got us 2 corners, which we obviously wasted. Dispossessed 10 to 8. So there you go. Now let's move on to this. So how many shots did they have on target? They had was it 18? Was it? 18 shots they had. Shots on target, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they scored 2 goals from 6 shots on target. Obviously, one of them was gifted to them. We scored 1 goal. We had 6 shots. How many were on target? 2. We scored 1 goal from 2 shots on target. That's very good. This is the golden ratio, by the way, which I often mention if you've seen these videos before. And if you don't know, I'll tell you. For however many shots you have, half of them should be on target, and then half of those should be goals. Obviously, within reason, because you can only have whole number of goals. You can't have 2.2 goals, 2.5 goals. So we go to 6. We go from 6 to 2 to 1. Fantastic stuff. That's the ratio's there. All you do, if you increase your output and you maintain the ratio, you score more goals. And that's what you're trying to do. Probably why Femi's has got a low score. 4 shots, 0 on target, with a passing accuracy of 46.2. But he was trying. He was very, doing a lot of work. Just didn't work out for him. So if we sort this by rating now, we go obviously Wes Harding. Clearly, yep. Can't believe he's only 28 years old. I can't believe he hasn't been playing more. Like I said, why has he not been playing more? I believe he hasn't played in the Championship. He's been on new substitute. Like I said before, is there a thing in his contract that if he plays in the league, obviously, does a new contract thing kick in? I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's only one game. I don't know. But then they wouldn't have him on the bench. Because if they had to bring him on, why would that kick in? I don't know. Yeah. So Jensen comes in, gets second, 7.17. Fantastic stuff. Made some really good saves. Did come out for some of the crosses and go up and get them. Obviously, when you're playing against a Premier League team with the VAR, you're kind of protected as a goalkeeper if you go up for things. Josh Coburn, 6.97, despite only being on the pitch for 65 minutes. Should he have been left on longer? Could he have done something? He started to get his eye in. Nearly got on the end of that beautiful threaded ball where Wes Harding just didn't connect with it. If he would have been seen, he probably would have been a legend. Just didn't happen. And then we got a bit of a drop off to Joe Bryan, 6.41. We got Jules Saville coming on, spending 30 minutes on the pitch against 6.33. Again, in my opinion, he was kind of at fault for that third goal. Didn't challenge properly with the Eddie Nicosia and just kind of ball watched. But interesting that he came on and get a higher score than nearly half the team. Billy Mitchell, Denor, he didn't really do much in the game, did he? Bangor Williams score 6.09. But his numbers were looking good, so I don't know why he's so low. I've put maybe the yellow card. Kundal didn't do nothing in the game. Look, 0.0000. 6.08. Got higher rating than Negley, than Jake Cooper, than Tanganga, than George Honeyman, than Liam Roberts. So Liam Roberts 5.36. Touched the ball twice, got sent off. 5.36. I mean, you've kind of cost your team the game, really, haven't you? I mean, did it in the best way possible, taking out their main man, their main scoring threat. But George Honeyman comes off the bench, gets 5.86. Tanganga scoring an own goal with 5.9. Femi's is 5.9. Again, I'm not sure about. I think what it is, when you see with this website, whoscored.com, you've got Kundal. He was on the pitch for 12 minutes, didn't do nothing, got 6.08. So what I think is, if you try to do things in a football game and it doesn't go well for you, you kind of get marked down. You get marked down because you've got Roberts, kick the guy in the face, red card. George Hyman, whatever he was doing on the ball, off the ball. In fact, he gave away a lot of fouls, didn't he, when he came on? You got Femi having 4 shots, none of them on target, and his passes are off as well. So, if you wanted to just glide through a game and get a decent rating, if your wages or whatever was based on the ratings. Just run around and don't do anything, because you would get a middling score. Whereas if you try things and they work out, such as Mr. Wesley Harding or Lucas Jensen, then you get a higher score. But if you just don't do anything in a game, well, I'm digging Luke Cundle out, he had to get subbed off, you get a middling score. So there you go. If we go to this, let's go to this, and let's click on that. Okay. Were we offside? Nope. Okay. Defensively, then let's go to that. Who did what defensively? Reece Van Gaal Williams on the pitch for we had a first half that lasted an hour. It went to 45 plus 14 minutes or something. 15 minutes. So, the timing's all off. He came on in the 32nd minute in the first half. 3 tackles, 1 interceptions. Gave away 4 fouls. Maybe that's the situation in terms of that. Maybe that marks you down. Wes Harding with 2 tackles, and then all of these players with 1. Interceptions. Wes Harding with 5. Again, Wes Harding. He is on fire. Tanganga with 2. Reece Van Gaal Williams and all these other players with 1. Clearances. Jake Cooper 9, Joe Bryan 7, Tanganga 6, Billy Mitchell 4. Does that include the one that he kicked on Tanganga? Because that wasn't really cleared, was it? Blocked shots. Casper Denor with 2, Joe Bryan, Tanganga, Coburn, Saville with 1 apiece. Passing wise, did Luke Cundle? No, Luke Cundle literally did nothing in that game. Didn't touch the ball, didn't have a pass, didn't tackle anyone, didn't do nothing. Gets a score of 6.08. So passes, the most passes from Lucas Jensen, and then Billy Mitchell. But quite a massive drop off there. See, we want ones to get on the ball. Passing accuracy. Crosses and accurate crosses. Long balls and accurate long balls. Wow, 33 long balls from Jensen. 4 of them found a Millwall player. Yikes. Okay, I mean, that's it. What can you say? On to Tuesday. That's what we say. Let's go against Bristol City and let's try and win that game. On that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.